Welcome to the EarthWorks podcast, where our team will share the jargon of carbon with many of the turf friends we've met over the past 35 years.
Hi, everybody. This is Joel Simmons. And this week we have an old friend. Actually, he's not an old friend. He's just a friend from a long time ago. And Logan Freeman has been on the podcast once before. He's at Mountain Branch Golf Club in Joppatown, Maryland. Where is Joppatown, you ask? You're what, about an hour north of Baltimore?
Yeah, 45 minutes or so.
45 minutes. And then how far from Philly? About an hour.
hmm
So
Yeah, we're
he's off
perfectly
Route
positioned.
90, off of Route 95, between Baltimore and Philadelphia, in that wonderful, wonderful mid-Atlantic region that is so easy to grow grass, and everybody aspires to want to run to the mid-Atlantic region because it's been so good. Let's talk about that first. What has happened in the last? You were on 2 or 3 years ago. I should have checked this, but how's the weather changing in that mid-Atlantic region? I mean, they actually changed the zone. They went from I'm going to get this wrong, from what, a 7 to a 6 or 6 to a 7. They actually bumped it up, so now Baltimore is now Philadelphia. But what are you seeing in the last few years, Logan, in terms of weather patterns in that area?
Yeah, it's definitely historically uh, it's warmer, but what I'm noticing is it's just more extremes.
Yeah,
Um, Perfect example being it's either always wet, cool, or when it shouldn't be, or it's the other way. And the you know, I haven't necessarily noticed overall warmth, I would say. I would just say that the variability in the extreme aspect, we had a horrible July, right? It
yeah,
was wet.
yeah,
Normally it's
and
cool
hot.
and wet or hot and dry. It was
Yeah.
wet and hot in July. And then it was like Mother Nature flipped the calendar August 1st and it was fall. It was I mean, I've never seeded ryegrass into my fairways. Let's be honest on the podcast that I lost some POA and some turf thin in July. Um, and then August came and I was out with the cedar and
Wow.
and we're carpet now. And
Yeah.
historically, I wouldn't even touch a cedar until second week of September.
Yeah. Well, how did
Um,
you even know that you could do that in August and not expect to have the back end of August just kick your butt?
well, I fully expected that to happen.
Like that's part of the process. So you
Yeah,
were just,
yeah,
the hell with it all. Just let's go, see what happens.
yeah, exactly. So I was like, well, what if it's not and we're a month ahead?
Yeah.
So, talked with ownership and had this discussion and was like, hey, I'm going to go at it and it might work out great, it might not. But if I keep 50% of this grass
Yeah,
alive that we're
that's exactly
seeding,
right. Yeah.
then it was a no-brainer for us. And so I bought a lot of people's last bits of ryegrass.
Okay.
Um, and was just like, give me what you can give me
I'll
and
take
let's
it all,
go.
whatever.
Yeah, I'll take anything. I'm not worried about, oh, I got this single cultivar. It's fine.
That's good. Yeah,
I'll
give
take
it to
it.
me. Yeah.
So
Did you
you
have
know,
hard time finding it in first
yeah,
week of
like
August?
enough
Yeah.
volume. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it was
This
tough, but
this was last year's crop, I assume.
yes.
Yeah, of
Yeah.
course.
Last year's crop, all
Yeah.
this year's crop wasn't really coming until end of
Yeah.
August,
Yeah, I was
typical
gonna say usually
September.
that's why you're seeding in September a lot of the times, but
Yeah. Yeah, normally. And I was like, what do you have? So yeah, got seed and then along with that, got some earthwork stuff and started throwing it down and just trying to get the seed to come up. And what it gave us by starting early was the ability to hit the really bad areas maybe
yeah.
3 or 4 times.
Oh,
Um,
good point. Yeah.
so instead of like, oh, September, okay, now we see what we get, and then October, and now we're starting to get into almost dormant seeding time.
Yeah.
So that was the approach, and I'll say 9 out of 10 years I had typically gotten slapped.
Yeah,
Like
it's a
it would have
gamble, but
been, we're getting somewhere just in time for a gray leaf spot or some crazy
yeah,
thing to
yeah,
get
yeah.
the ride. But it worked out perfect this year, and so we're rolling now. We're doing
But we're
good.
sitting here on October 14th and you're pretty green and you're pretty lush.
Yeah.
Good. So
Yeah,
it took. What
I
was the rest of August like? I mean, it came in pretty calm. Did it stay that way?
Yeah, for us, it stayed that way.
Yeah.
It stayed, man, it really hasn't left. And when you're, excuse me, when you're in August and you get to the end of August and then you get a little chilly, you try hard not to like complain that it's a little cool in the morning.
It's too.
Yeah.
I gotta wear a jacket in the
Yeah, I gotta wear a
20th
jacket. I
of
was wearing a
August, for
jacket.
God's sake. Yeah.
Yeah, it was let's see, I'm trying to think. Maybe a week ago it got cool
Yeah.
and I was like, I don't have big enough gloves on. Like what, you're not acclimated to it, but
Yeah.
talk about a blessing in disguise. But that's what I'm seeing more of lately is just that, I once posed this question, just came to mind on Facebook group. It was, if you could control the weather, would you rather have the average temperature, rain, moisture for 365 days, or would you rather just play it as it happens? Um,
And
and most people said, well, that's a dumb question because you can't control the weather. I'm like, oh, we're talking
it's
hypothetical
all
here.
hypothetical.
Yeah,
Exactly. That
right.
was the
And
point.
to be honest, I would rather take the swings,
Yeah.
the unnatural nature about it, because I think you get these really hot periods, but it might be 2 weeks and it might cool down.
Yeah.
If you look at the average trend of, the Baltimore area, Mid-Atlantic area, and June, July, August, that'd be one hell of a 3 month stretch if
Yeah,
it was,
exactly.
the average is what you had every day. But that was kind of my thought. Would be interesting to see how it would work. And I enjoy the extremes because I mean, they're hard, but they can swing the other direction, just as easily. Many years we've been, it's too cool in the mid-Atlantic to get the cool season, to get the bentgrass up and going.
Yeah. And then spring.
Um,
Yeah.
and then there's times it's the other, but without knowing, I think it's very similar for me. If I would relate it to having a Monday through Friday job, like 8 to 5. That
Right.
that that's just boring and daunting to me. So I would be like,
That's why you're in this business.
yeah, that's why I'm in this business. A little bit of flexibility, but hey, it might be long, might be here, just that
Yeah.
you don't know every day.
Yeah.
So I think that's what the weather aspect brings as well. You just don't know. I mean,
What
uh,
was last summer like? Wasn't last August for you guys pretty nasty?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Last August was
So you would
nasty.
never have made that ryegrass seeding in last August. Yeah.
No, no. Last August, we didn't start seeding until my normal time, which is typically the second to third week of September. And part of my reasoning is, we're a smaller staff and stuff of that nature. And so if I can buy another week or two to just help with water, managing those
Right.
seedlings,
Right.
as well as, typical gray leaf spot season might come up and get you. If I shorten that window, then it's good. But you always go into the late fall, not in the best condition. And at Mountain Branch, we're full of outings come
Yeah. You're
September,
busy, busy golf
right?
course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
September, October, outing out, 3 or 4 outings a week.
Yeah. It's the best
So
time to play golf, for God's sake, in the middle.
I know. Yeah, exactly. And we're full outings. And so that just added to the August decision. Like, what
Yeah.
can I do without being around golf like
Yeah.
as much? I mean, let's face it. One thing that's tough for the turf manager now on the golf side is since COVID, the amount of play has just come up to where there is no easy second jobs in the day.
No. No.
Your efficiency's down, like you're working 30% as a second job.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's
That
so
makes
it's
sense.
been quite the challenge.
Yeah. It's funny. We used to say for years and years and years, all we had to do was get to August 20th.
Yeah.
And then everything kind of slides from there. The temperatures at night drop, but that's not really been the case
No.
in the last 5 years. I remember interviewing Brendan Byrne, who was in Philadelphia, and he said, we're now in Baltimore. I mean, the climate has jumped a whole, a zone, and they've actually changed the zones, but
Mhm.
it's definitely moving into Philadelphia, and you're actually seeing Bermuda grass coming into the Philadelphia area and probably into your area as well, certainly into the Washington, D.C. markets. You're
Yeah.
seeing a lot of Bermuda grass. So things are definitely changing. But
Yeah.
that's a hell of a gamble, my friend, taking the cedar out on 1st of August. Uh,
Yeah.
but like you said, even if you caught 50% of it, I mean, it wouldn't be the worst investment you ever made. It actually would still be a good ROI, return on investment, and obviously you did that. Talk to us. There's some folks that don't remember listening to you last time, and hopefully they did. But tell us a little bit about Mountain Branch, and what it's like, and how long you've been there. You've been there for God, it's a long time now. We've been going back and forth there for a lot of years now.
Yeah. So we're semi-private, cool season, all the way except for about an acre or so on a driving range, which is some Bermuda, but
See,
we're that's just a toy. That's a fun area. If turf starts to go south on the golf course, you can go hang out over there and
I
see,
pretended it's good.
yeah,
Yeah.
pretend. Yeah. So but yeah, I've been there superintendent 15 years now.
Wow.
And well, when we started off, it was a course with historic um turf loss, so to speak.
Yeah, you were you
Um,
you inherited a mess.
yeah, it was a bit of a mess,
Did you
and
know that going in? Did you know how rough it had been before you?
yeah, and so everyone I talked to was kind of, so
What the hell are you doing this for,
yeah,
dude?
yeah, why are you doing this? So I was an
Yeah.
assistant. I was the assistant for 6, 7 months or something before
Yeah.
I took the job. But coming from Idaho originally, I was talking to a gentleman the other day about the fact that in my first 2, 3 weeks at Mountain Branch, I had seen diseases and stuff I'd only seen in a textbook,
Oh,
or on a
really?
website.
Yeah.
And so it was just an awesome learning. But I saw the most cataclysmic turf loss I've ever seen, I've ever seen as well. And
From
so
what?
just I think difficulty of management. 2010 was a really hot
Yeah,
year,
yeah, yeah, it
multiple
was.
90-degree days in
Yeah.
May. But also we had just kind of got into this realm of this little thing called annual bluegrass weevil. Uh,
Ah, the
and
ABW was there, huh?
Yeah, so we weren't
Oh
quite
boy.
sure.
Is that what you
Like,
were losing grass to, is the ABWs?
yeah, that's what it turned out to be. Is because I finally got somebody in and was like, I don't know why the Poe is dying on these tee boxes. It's just going south, and I can't do anything about it. And so he's like, "Oh, have you ever heard of this?" And no.
Oh.
So he cuts in there and he's like, "Oh, you see these things?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "That's your problem. Here, spray this, do this." So we started to make the change, but and then as we've talked, and I was kind of introduced a little bit to this whole carbon-based thing, this
That's
whole,
heresy, you know
you
that.
know, yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like, what is this? And if you know my background, I would always call that sort of stuff like hippie stuff.
My hair's
Uh,
not that long. What are you talking
yeah,
about?
right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I'm always kind of like, nah, man, I don't know about that. I don't know
Yeah.
about that. And
Maybe you're talking to Jack Higgins. He's a little hippie.
yeah, right. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. Yeah, Jack might be. So but yeah, we kind of ended up looking a little bit in, and my first dabbling, well, so to speak, with this carbon-based idea was not actually Earthworks. It was I believe it was Anderson's. Had some little bit. I want to say they
The
had some
humic acid
stuff.
product?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I was kind of like, oh, and then I got guided over to you guys, like, if you, this is where we're going, this is what you need to do, whatever. And so,
What year was this? This is
that
first
would have
year you were in?
been probably by the time I was doing that, 2011, 2012.
Okay, so it was like your second year at Super
Yeah.
that we got to
Yeah. And
meet.
I was
Yeah.
just like the first year, as I tell people, it was no joke. I was working 16-hour days,
Yeah. I
you know,
remember that.
yeah. So it was crazy. And then I kind of got over into this and started, dabbling along and being like, all right, I see the benefit of this, and this maybe I am seeing. But the thing that really got me was when I got some C3 and I sprayed it, and the second time I sprayed it, it was like just a game changer. And
Yeah.
it was like I can see that the plant is getting something out of this product that I've never seen before in my career.
Huh.
Um,
And you were one of our first C3 victims,
yeah,
clients.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I was like, what is this stuff? But and at first I was like, oh, I don't know about the smell and all these things. And
Hey, it smells great,
now,
dude.
yeah, and now I'm like, man, that's the smell
Oh, I
of good,
love that
good,
smell.
healthy soil, healthy turf. I get it. I
Yeah.
totally get the whole picture now. And But I ended up, really going with that. And then it was like, oh, let's look at some granulars. Okay, now let's step back and like, let's look at what's the soil itself. So we did heavy liming, to
Soil
begin.
testing first. We did
Yep.
a lot of
Soil
soil testing.
testing.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of soil
Saw
testing.
calcium deficiencies and started
Yep.
really. I mean, when I remember when I first met with you, I remember your soils, and this is an agronomic term that I use a lot. Your soil sucked.
Yes.
They were really, really bad. I mean, it was that part of the world is, I mean, there's a lot of bad soils, and you were right in the middle of it all. I mean,
Yeah.
and you have truly become, in my mind, one of the best students of biological soil
Hmm.
management, if I can use that term. And you've really embraced it, and you've taught me a lot. And I think Jack would agree with you, and Scott, Scotty would probably say the same thing, Orndorff, and we would just watch what you were doing and just learn from it. But again, you kind of started this just by experimentation, right? I mean, that's where it all came. Did
Yeah.
you have
Yeah.
any I mean, you were doing some things before you got to us, and
Mhm.
we weren't, trying to blow this out of the water for you, but you were really the one just kept exploring and discovering things.
Yeah. Yeah. My background was, in Idaho, your skill set lies in managing moisture.
Right. Or the lack
That's
thereof.
or yeah, right. So, and then fertilizer, you didn't have as many inputs against you as you have, in the mid-Atlantic.
Yeah.
So once I started kind of dabbling with it and playing with C3 and learning a little bit more about it, and then of course I was doing my own test plots of like different rates of
I
C3
remember
and
that. Yeah.
what does it do, and you know how does it affect things, and I was just really into it at first, and I've grown to love it, and understand that we only know just this tiny little bit, but it works. And I've always gone back to this mindset of, you know I heard in school that Native Americans used to put a piece of fish in with the corn, right? Well, if
Yeah.
that's true, I don't know if that's true or not, but to me, if they did that, they did that for a reason.
And they
Like
did
it
do
wasn't
that,
just to get
actually. Yeah.
rid of fish parts.
Yeah. No, we weren't trying to
So,
bury dead fish.
yeah,
Yeah.
so I'm like, there's something to that. And that's what, okay, we're looking at these, you know, fish products and all these humic acids and all these different things. And I'm like, there's something, behind this. And it's just funny if you like know my full like background of where I came from. This is not something you'd say I'd ever get into.
Yeah,
But
that's a neat story though, because it isn't.
yeah,
I mean, it's, you learned it
yeah,
firsthand.
yeah,
I
I
mean, your
learned it.
background was pretty conventional, right? I mean,
Yeah,
you were basically
absolutely.
taught NP and K and pH and
Yep,
all those things,
yep.
and did it for years, and fought the fight.
Yeah, exactly. And you're always fighting the fight.
Yeah.
And as as we talked the other day, if I could go back, I'd have started this day one, moment one,
Yeah.
because I'd have been even that much farther ahead.
You
But
got to learn it for yourself, my friend. You got to learn it for
yeah,
yourself.
yeah,
I can tell you
exactly.
this all day long, but nobody should believe me. They should
I know,
believe
and
their own
people,
eyes.
I think about it, and that's kind of my any chance I get is to tell people that you there's something to this to make your job easier.
Yeah.
And uh if you don't do this, in my mind, if you're not getting the soil to work for you rather than against you, and you're not making it easier, then I mean, I can't imagine doing 20, 30 years of just hitting my head against the wall with no end in sight.
Yeah.
So, when I started doing this and getting it, and say you're a few years in and you see the benefits, and holy cow, I'm not dragging a hose every 5 seconds.
Yeah.
I'm, you know,
Not
uh,
coming in the morning thinking everything's dead,
everything's dead. Yeah.
Yeah.
And what I really noticed, so historically, there's turf loss at Mountain Branch just because there is, and it's mid-Atlantic.
And you got a
But
million people coming through it.
yeah, right. And what I started to really notice was that, you know, when we lose turf, the recovery is so much faster than it used to be.
I think that's the one thing you taught me probably sooner than anybody else is that, you would still, because you are a factory golf course. I mean, you run a lot of people through there and it's in the mid-Atlantic. But I remember you telling me that the recovery, I mean, even though we still had some loss, the recovery was so much better and you weren't losing the sleep that you were losing before because you knew it would come back. I remember vividly you telling me, you might even said out on the last podcast, but that's one of the things, like I say, I learned from you guys more than I learned from anybody because I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I'm just saying crap on the air and hoping it's true, as some of my friends on other podcasts will tell you. And
I gotta find those podcasts because
yeah, let's not.
I need to.
Yeah, let's not. I mean, we don't need dinosaurs talking to us. But it was interesting, when you started talking about the recovery and this was recovery that was happening in the worst times of the summer. Yeah, which was really pretty cool. I mean, and like I said, I thank you because I learned so much. But yeah, it's been pretty interesting watching your success over the years. It's funny because, I've been doing this now almost 40 years, and golf course superintendents are great at what they do for the most part. I mean, 98% of them do. I mean, some of them maybe shouldn't be there, but for the most part, but the ones, I mean, everybody can be successful in a lot of different ways. But what we found is that just we do make it a little bit easier, and guys can still be successful. They're just working harder at it. I'm like, why do you want to do that? That's hey, listen to Logan. He just told me that he's going home at 2:00 and having barbecues with the family.
It's true. It's to me, the homework, life balance sort of stuff is very important. And it doesn't mean I haven't added 12 other things to my days, to my career.
We're going to talk about that because you have.
We'll talk about that. But
the kids and other jobs. Yeah. I mean, your life is crazed.
Yeah. So, but the everyday stress of managing the turf has just changed. And I find myself, I mean, I've gone down, rabbit holes of this biological soil management aspect. I haven't bought a textbook since I was in college, and
I never gave you Jerry's book. I never gave you
I've got that
ecosystem. All right, you got to read that.
I've got that. I've read that. A great book. But I bought a textbook on rhizophagy.
Dr. White's book.
I know Gatsu could. Yeah.
From Rutgers. Yeah, Dr. White is the one who basically discovered rhizophagy.
Yeah. So
fascinating, right?
Yeah, absolutely fascinating. I'm just like every time, when I listen to the Teaming with Microbes book as well.
Yeah, that's a great book.
I've listened to that book on tape like 4 or 5 times. I always pick up something new that is truly fascinating of what's going on. And one of the things that really got my mind, the idea of rhizophagy, these, roots maybe pulling these actual microbes in, extracting, stealing from them and then spitting them back out. And they're doing this.
Telling them to go do it again and bring it back. Yeah.
Do it again and bring it back. Exactly. But the idea of like the mobility of nutrients, and when we apply nutrients and then, they could potentially leach, but when they're taken in by a microbe, they're no longer mobile.
Yeah.
And so I look at that as an environmental aspect of, hey, you got a strong environmental, microbial population, a healthy soil, and all these microbes are holding those nutrients up. Yeah, they're living for a little bit, they're dying, but the next thing's eating them. And just the whole soil food web aspect. Yeah. And let's face it, in the turf world, high maintenance turf, we're applying products that are constantly damaging that ecosystem.
Yeah.
And it's just the nature
and the physical environment. I mean, it's not only the chemicals, but you got 40,000 feet walking over a small area of grass, Yeah,
I mean, exactly. And so, I've just looked and kind of really just gone in on that to understand it a little bit more and see all the different aspects. I mean, you listen to that book as, whatever, and there's like 15 or 16 chapters on different aspects of the soil food web. And it's like, wow, but I get it. We're applying these things, but I also understand the commercial, like the industrial fertilizers, the high salt load, stuff's damaging it. when it comes to
Burning up the carbon in the soil.
yeah,
So it's taking
burning up
away
the
the food
carbon.
source for microbes.
Yeah, and I've been told, Logan, you don't need to apply any more carbon. There's plenty of it in the soil, which you've heard 6 million times, right? There's plenty of thatch. And
That's like you
like,
and me chewing on a
yeah,
pencil. That's what I
exactly.
always
So
say.
my favorite line is Tyler, that you say like, yeah, it's like us chewing on a pencil. People will ask me, I'll say, yeah, if you wanted to chew on the back of that wooden chair, it would give
Right.
you energy, but you're going to die long before you see the benefit
Yeah.
of it. And so this is why I apply this. And then I get, sales guys of different companies. They'll be like, I got a carbon. It's great. It's kelp, or,
Yeah.
it's real great. And I'm like, I get it. But I'm telling you guys, like, I don't do linear carbon products. This
Yeah.
is the reason why I do,
Sounds like
EarthWorks.
I brainwashed you, my friend.
Yeah,
I'm
it sounds
hearing
like
a
you
lot of.
brainwashed me pretty good,
How
but I
many
get it.
does
You know,
anybody come into your shop? Any salesman come into your shop that doesn't have some carbon-based fertilizers?
not anymore.
Yeah.
Everyone's got it.
When did that change? When did you start noticing everybody is talking about this?
I'm gonna say maybe like I'm trying to think of when I went to the GIS conference in Orlando last couple times
Yeah.
ago. And that when you're walking the floor, I was like, wow, it's like when you buy a new truck and you're like, I got this one, and suddenly, wait a second, everyone's got this truck.
Everybody has the same
Yeah.
features.
So I was like, is everyone doing this? But really, I think that's what it was. It was probably maybe 10 years ago you started really kind of seeing it a
Yeah.
little bit, but now it's like everyone. Now and what I have the discussion with them is, okay, great. Everyone has some carbon in there because it's not lying. There's some benefit to it. Companies
Absolutely. It
don't put
works. I
stuff
mean,
in
that's why they're
places.
doing it. That's why
Yeah,
manufacturers do
they
it. It
don't
makes
just
their
waste
fertilizer.
it.
Yeah, they make it work better.
So I'm like, okay, but they're not all made the same.
Right.
That's where I go, and that's why I choose the products that I choose. And for me, when I spray C3, there's a lot, obviously there's a lot of talk about the soil benefits to the microbes. In my research and understanding, when I spray that and it dries on the leaf, I'm feeding the microbes living on the leaf surface.
Right.
Also.
Yeah. And you are.
And that's I don't need to water it in because there's microbes there. There's microbes all over them. They're all doing their own thing. And so, I just sprayed a pesticide over a leaf. So every single time I spray, there's some sort of carbon in the tank. Typically, it's C3.
It's one step backwards and two steps forward. You're always going forward. When you brought up the idea of rhizophagy, to me, that's one of the most exciting things for me. I mean, I'm always wanting to continue to learn, and I'm a lot closer to the end than I am to the beginning now. And I've said that a few times, but I don't want to ever stop learning. And and this was in the last few years that we found rhizophagy. And to think about what can happen in your lifetime, I mean, you've got a number of years left. The fact that we've seen in the last number of 10, 20 years, glomalin being found and discovered in the soil, which is the byproduct, the residue, if you will, of mycorrhizae, that slimy material that kind of works as a wetting agent. Rhizophagy, we know nothing about soil biology. We know nothing. I mean, Lawrence Mayhew, who you've heard me talk with many times, tells me we know maybe 2% of what's really going on in that soil. And the reality is that we don't really need to know their names or how many they are. We just need to know that they're there and they do the heavy lifting. I mean, Jerry used to always say to me, microbes eat at the table first. And he'd say that. I'm like, what the hell are you talking? Microbes eat at the table first. So, everything that hits that soil, the microbes are going to react. So if it's all synthetic carbon, they need energy, just to drive that truck down the road. So they're going to take it out of the soil. So that's why you're seeing carbon-based fertility, in such a strong way. And you're right. I don't think there's a golf course shop in the country right now that does not have something on the shelf that's got some carbon in it. I don't care if it's a humate or a kelp or a fish or sugars, whatever it might be, something. And you mentioned the Andersons, they're putting humic acids in there, even though that doesn't feed microbes, it's still helping the whole, carbon foundation in the soil.
Yeah.
So it's interesting seeing how far we've come. I mean, when I started and we were called every name in the book, things that I can't repeat. But it's really rewarding seeing how far the industry has come in terms of understanding this whole biological spectrum. I never learned anything about soil biology in college, ever. I mean, I learned microbiology, but they never really parlayed that into, what we talk about now as biological soil management, the soil food web, rhizophagy and there's actually more and more stuff coming on all the time. And it's only going to get better and better because I think the floodgates are open. And like I said, you're going to be, and you're one of the better students. You're going to be absorbing, your head's going to spin, I think, in the next 10 years. I hope it is. I
Yeah.
hope I can reach out to you before I'm gone and say, hey, what's new? And you're gonna spend 20 minutes telling me, oh my God, this and this, and I read this book. And it's exciting. I mean, it
It,
really is exciting. And it
it,
like you
it
said, the most important thing is it makes your life easier.
Yeah, and that's to me, it makes it, and once you kind of have an understanding of the soil biology aspect of things, other things start to fit into place. We did had a research green, like used to be practice green that we turned to research for surfactants the last 2 years.
Mhm.
So there's a lot of discussion of like, what are they doing, and then they're keeping maybe the area right around the root, the rhizosphere more, moisture there, which is benefiting the root, the plant's not going as far south as fast and all these things. And to me, it makes sense that, okay, I'm keeping moisture around the microbial activity around the root. So it's able to function. It's able to recover faster.
Yeah.
Um, so for me, I think of just everything in the terms of like, how's this affecting the biology? And I think there's a misconception that if you go in on this, you're no longer applying any pesticide, right?
Yeah.
Because,
No, nobody's saying
and
that.
yeah, right. And it's like, no, but you really, if you are, which we are in the turf world, that you
Especially in the mid-Atlantic.
in the mid-Atlantic, yeah, you need to be doing this,
Yeah.
or it'll greatly help you. And for the young guys, I'm always like, and I don't know, I'm not young anymore. It's crazy.
No, you're
Uh,
still young. It's all relative.
yeah, I guess so. They, but the idea of like, hey, you can bust your ass for 5 years if you know you're getting somewhere.
Right.
But if
Yeah.
you're gonna be living on a knife's edge for 15 years, why do we want to do that if we don't have to? And so, I just promote that. And then, when as we can talk about golf course superintendent got easy, and I wanted to learn, which is dangerous. It's dangerous to always want to learn something new, because then I was like, oh, did you know that they grow grass that they run horses on?
Right.
Like, wow, I wonder
What?
what those guys do. That sounds like, whoo, because these, 40,000 plus golfers on a golf course built to probably have 15,000 rounds.
Yeah. Or less.
Like, I wonder what they do. And then look at the can of worms that's opened up, for that with me. But that once again, this, biological soil management is just slipped right into that
So
as
let's
well.
talk about that. It's a perfect parlay here. You actually have a company called C6, which I love, and you're working on racetracks. You're working on all sorts of racetracks. I didn't know until just that now that you're working on Pimlico. I knew you're doing some stuff down in Florida.
Mhm.
How did you get into that? And let's talk about the agronomy of it all. But let's talk about how you got into this and what does it pertain? What does it entail that you're doing all this? I mean, it's got to be
Yeah.
interesting.
So the really I reached out to a gentleman that worked at Laurel Park in Pimlico. He was in management there, and I was just like, hey, I never put two and two together. But I've been a fan of horse racing my whole life, and but I never put two and two together that they run on grass. Uh,
Right. Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
right? And I'm like, I love to manage turf, and so I'd like to come visit and just see what it is. And he was like, all in, absolutely, come on down. So I went to Pimlico for the first time and just walked the turf, and And it was just a perfect setup to where he had 100 questions, and then I
Turf
just,
questions.
yeah, like turf questions.
Yeah.
Yep. And, the quality of the turf and, oh, this is what we do. What do you think of this? And it win. And, I just kind of kept going into it. And then, him and I touched base, every once in a while, and we've just kind of talked. And then he called me one day and was like, we're having a few problems. Can you come take a look? And yeah, why, another opportunity to go down, you bet. So I did. And, kind of what I found, and the idea was that it was kind of being managed like maybe like a poor level or lower level park and rec system,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so,
They're
as you
not
can
turf guys, they're
imagine,
horse guys. So yeah,
right,
it's
yeah,
a whole
they're like,
different beast. Yeah.
they can do some things, but not necessarily to the level of some turf
And,
guys.
and what's the mixes? What's the soil? Is it
So
constructed?
Uh, some, yeah, they're typically like a loam. Because in horse racing, it's, everyone wants in the horse world, they want the track to drain, right? So when the
So
rain comes,
that's
they
what
can
I'm
get
asking.
back
Is
on.
it sand based? Are they
But
built
they're
like?
mostly like a sandy loam,
Yeah, yeah. So
because you have
they're
to
not
have,
built like a golf course green
no,
necessarily.
absolutely not, because you have to sacrifice drainage in order to have like footing for
Right.
the horse for it to hold up. So you get that by having, soil mixed
Yeah,
in
yeah. So
with the
yeah,
sand.
exactly.
Um,
And how much do these beasts weigh? 2,000 pounds
yeah,
each?
they're like a little over, 1,000, a little over 1,000 pounds, running 35 miles an hour.
So with metal
And
on their feet.
yeah, you can imagine, each horse foot, is
I
obviously
don't
missing
understand how
more.
there's any grass left after one or two rounds on
I
any of
know.
these tracks.
I know it's really amazing, and that's why I was kind of like, wow, how do we do this? And they were the ones here were struggling; they were just hanging on, and so they were fortunate enough. I was fortunate enough that when I kind of described to them what I could bring,
Right.
and this is the approach I could help, they went all in and were like, yes. And so within a year or two, we had these turf courses just phenomenal, and there were changes and a bunch of stuff that went on into that. And I'm fortunate, I'm just blessed to work with an awesome crew at all the tracks that I work with.
Right.
um
Now you're
people
going in as a consulting manager?
Yep. So I
Yeah.
go in and I just consult, and I build, built the program for them, and
Yeah.
Scott has been a huge help in that.
Scott Orndorff, yeah.
And so I do that, and then we just started managing and trying to, work on things different, get different equipment, do agronomics, and bring it together. And so I worked, 2, 3 years or so with the Maryland Jockey Club at the tracks here in Maryland, and then they were at the time owned by the same group that owns Gulfstream Park down in Florida,
Ah,
and they called me to go down there and take a look. And at one point, and then I've been down with them for 2.5 years or more now, growing warm season grass on a racetrack that never takes a break.
yeah,
Uh,
I would think not. Yeah, they're racing all year round,
yeah,
right?
they're racing year round. And what's interesting is that, their peak season is December through March, the championship meet down there.
You oversee those?
No, we have not. There's a discussion that, we were going
Would
to.
would overseeing seeding even survive?
Yeah, it does. They
It
can,
would. Okay.
some places do put a ryegrass
Yeah,
down.
yeah.
My
I know
thought,
nothing about horse tracks,
yeah,
obviously.
so my thought was like, well, we don't ever really go dormant in Miami,
Right.
right? With Bermuda. It does slow greatly,
Yeah.
but why don't we just try to manage and deal with this, and let's see what happens. And when we put a new turf down, they have a Bimini Bermuda grass, so one of the newer, an offshoot of 419. But they we just decided, let's manage it. And the first year was like, it was okay, we made it through, but they also bought in on this biological soil management. I mean, we have put pallets and pallets and pallets of Renovate Plus down, Eco Light, because, once again, soil's not great, but we're offsetting that poor soil by having all those reservoirs in there, minerals and things
Right.
to hang on to the nutrients that we need. And then it's, 545 and 822, and these products is each
Mm,
granular, along with
yeah.
totes of C3. And
Is that, do you need to be more frequent with those amendments than you would on a golf course because of the physical nature of this?
yeah, yeah,
I mean, yeah, it makes sense, right?
yeah.
And you're able to build enough recovery to survive 1,000-pound horse running around the track every day.
Yeah. So what
Thousands of
they
pounds of horses running around.
yeah. So what we do is the inside rail actually will move out to different rail settings in order to try to give a little bit of
Ah,
recovery,
okay.
right?
Again,
So
knowing
if
nothing
you're
about
there
horse
might
racing.
be four, five, six
Gotcha.
lanes. Now at Pimlico, there's like three. At Laurel, there's six, but we race on two at a time, and so you only get three rail movements. But there's ways to kind of move the physical nature, but it
Right.
is
Gotcha.
hands down the most it I would say it's one of the most challenging environments to try to grow turf grass when you factor everything in. Like there's usually training in the morning on the dirt, not
Yeah, I
on the
would bet.
turf.
Yeah.
So you can't get to work until 10 a.m.,
Yeah.
right? And then you got things to do at 10. You're always spraying at times that you probably don't want to be spraying. You'd rather spray in the morning or something.
Right.
And
Right.
you're
Yeah.
watering at times you don't want to water. And
Yeah.
then you want to irrigate, and imagine having irrigation that's off to the side of the racing surface, but it's under the rail, so it hits the rail, and it's just not easy. It's not easy. I look at golf now and I'm like, geez, you know this is golf simple. I don't have a literally a 5 by 5 inch square getting blown out of the ground
Yeah,
every
exactly.
step or
Let
two.
me
But
ask you that. I mean, you listed a laundry list of products, and none of that was, is super cheap. Was there any pushback when you went to management and said, "I'm going to invest a lot of money into this new approach"? How did that go over? I mean, I can't imagine these guys were savvy, and I don't mean this as a criticism, but just not experienced enough to understand where you were going. But you were coming in with a bigger budget, I'm sure. How did that fly?
yeah, it was definitely a means of trying to communicate what the overall goal was
Yeah.
and where we would get, and the telling them that, hey guys, we're going to invest heavy for a year or two, and then I promise you it's going to go down in your overall, you're going to see better results, better turf, but the inputs are going to go down. And they're like, well, how is that? I'm like, because just this is
Because
how
you're
the
building
system
soil.
works.
Yeah, you're building a
Yeah, we're going to
foundation.
build the soil, and then we're going to be able to get a half a pound of nitrogen to act like one. And and we're going to use the right products, and in the end it's going to go better, or like it's going to get better, it's going to get better. And that's where we are right now. Perfect, at both tracks. Really, Gulfstream, we noticed this year that's like this is all starting to come together.
Yeah, we
And
were talking about that on a text stream a couple weeks
yeah,
ago. Yeah, I
it
remember that.
is. It's coming
Yeah.
together, and it's like, thank goodness that it is paying off. I know, it takes a lot of faith for these companies with me, but doing it at Mountain Branch now for 12 years or more, and seeing that I went from, maybe 5 or 6 pounds of nitrogen and having dead grass to 2 pounds on ryegrass
Yeah.
fairways,
Yeah. How many pounds
and
were they pounding the tracks with? They must have been really hitting it hard, I would assume, right?
lot, because the mindset is, well, fertilizer grows
Grow,
grass, and
grow, grow, grow. Yeah.
yeah,
Was it thatchy when you got there in Florida?
they are, but in the horse racing world, thatch is not as
Not
much
bad.
a bad
Yeah.
thing.
It gives
Yeah,
you some
so it helps
stability.
hold things together.
Yeah.
Stability gives a little cushion, um, which is a challenge when you're trying to grow a healthy Bermuda grass, but you
Yeah.
have to also say we need thatch.
Yeah.
And it is a real challenge, but I think it's the most rewarding turf grass aspect I've gotten into in my career.
Oh, that's pretty cool. What's the grasses at Pimlico? What are the grasses in Baltimore?
They're tall
Bluegrass?
fescue, so we're
Oh, they're
just
all
like
tall fescues. Okay.
mostly, yeah, tall
Yeah.
fescue with they're 90-10 is what we seed back into. Yeah.
I had the great privilege and pleasure of going out on and doing some work at Churchill Downs in the last couple of years, which was fascinating to be able to
Yes.
walk around. And I knew nothing. I mean, and other than talking to you briefly on some of these jobs that you were doing, I knew nothing. But I mean, just to see the sheer physical
Mhm.
pressure that these tracks are under. And and I didn't even think about the Florida tracks that are running year round. I mean, Churchill's running, sparsely at times, and so is
Hmm.
Pimlico, I'm sure. But yeah, the
Hmm.
guys down south have got to be a little crazed in terms of what they were doing there. What's the biggest challenge on the track? I mean, what's the biggest headache that you're dealing with?
For me, the biggest headache is the just trying to get the downtime to do the work.
Your
Uh,
downtime.
or no, like no them,
Oh,
like
because they're running
yeah,
horses around the
because
damn
they're
track. Well,
running.
get off
Yeah,
my
they're
track. Get out of here.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Like, okay, let us do the work.
Yeah.
Like, oh, because when they do morning training on the dirt or whatever, but you can't obviously be working during that time. So it's amazing how many days you're like, if I could have gotten out of here at 7 o'clock, I could have been done before the rain started at 10.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
And now you got the rain started at 10. But it
Yeah.
is a whole new set of challenges in that in the racing side. But it's awesome because, you know, really in what we do on the horse racing side is there is a much greater thing at stake than there
Yeah.
is a
Yeah.
golf
Yeah.
course, right? There is a matter of life and death, so to speak,
Well, that's a good point. Yeah. I mean, it literally could
in
be a
the
matter of
horse
life and death,
racing
right?
side, yeah.
Yeah.
And so I take it just extremely serious,
And these are
everything
expensive
that we do.
beasts.
Yeah,
Some
yeah.
of
And
them.
and I'm kind of, I think that they enjoy the fact that I do take it very personal and serious.
Good.
And, as long as we know we're producing the best possible surface that we can
Yeah.
produce, then, we're in a much better place at that point.
Are all the tracks both grass and dirt? Do they have dirt and grass tracks, or is it usually one or
Yeah,
the other or
a
both?
lot do. Yeah, some only have usually it's typically just dirt. There's only a couple that are just grass, but
But do
yeah,
they all
most of
have
them
grass along with dirt?
most of them have
Is that
both.
a different race? I mean, I don't know enough about horse racing. I mean, is that you race on grass is a different race than you would race on dirt?
Yeah, they'll do like the same distances, but typically there are horses that like the dirt and some horses like the
Right.
turf running on the turf. Turf's more natural, but in America, the dirt racing is kind of what we do in America. In
Yeah.
Europe, Europe's mostly they just race on grass. They don't monkey with dirt over there. They're smarter, I guess, than we are. We got to do something different. Not only will we run a different direction or drive on a different thing, but we'll also run on a different surface for
Yeah.
horses.
That's
Um,
interesting. Very funny. Well, I hate to tell you this, my friend, but we have run out of our time. But I am always impressed by your biological soil management expertise. I think you should write a book, to be honest with you. Before, and you seem to be always wanting to do something. I
I
mean,
know.
kids and horses and golf courses and
Yeah.
new houses and God, I mean, you're just always running like a crazy man. But I think you got plenty of time to write a book before the end of all this. You've done so many things and learned so much. And
Mhm.
like I said earlier, think of what's going to happen in the next 5, 10 years in the science of what we're talking about. I mean, we're going to learn so much more.
Mhm.
And I mean, and if you look at all the major chemical companies, all of their work is going toward biologicals. I mean, it's inoculants and things like that, which is okay, assuming you have a foundation that they can survive in. But
Right. Yeah.
but you're going to see, in your lifetime, in your career, you're going to see so many changes. And, you've already gotten to that point where you get it and you know how these things can survive. So
Yeah.
I applaud you. I commend you. I love talking with you. I'm always happy to spend a Sunday afternoon texting back and forth.
Yeah.
It's always a learn. I'll sit on the couch, watch a football game, and talk to Logan on the text machine. It's always
Yep.
a good thing. But don't ever hesitate to stop reaching out. But thank you, my friend. Thank you so much. I hope the horse racing business stays strong for you. It
Yeah.
sounds like it's fun.
Yeah, it is. It's exciting, but thanks for everything, that you do and that Jack does as well, and talking with him quite a bit. And um, it's a good thing you guys started doing this when you were loonies, and now you're just crazy in general. But
Yeah,
at
now
least
we're
I get
just
it
yeah,
and
but
see
now
the
we're still
benefit.
getting criticized after
Yeah,
30, 40 years of doing this. It's quite entertaining, quite honestly, when you go down this road. But yeah,
yeah.
I mean, we've definitely seen a change in where carbon-based fertility is. And, when you talk to somebody like you, it just reinforces that, I mean, it reinforces my belief that, yeah, what we basically committed a lifetime to, was the right path to take. And even though there's still some ups and downs and people that don't understand it, there's always somebody that doesn't understand it. But it makes sense. So I'm glad that we have able to give you time. How many kids do you have now?
Two, yeah, I got two kids, and the wife enjoys the sometimes less stress, even though I
Good.
know
Yeah.
she'd just tell everyone that I'm super stressed all the time, because I usually am, because I'm a golf course superintendent.
You're not stressed. You're just focused. That's a
Yeah,
focus. That's
there
what
you
it
go.
is. You're focused, which is good.
Focused, yeah, yeah. But no,
Logan,
this stuff's awesome. And
yeah,
your podcast a couple weeks ago, as I was saying, but where you just kind of gave the overview of
yeah.
what is
Every once
biological
in a while, I
sperming.
like doing that.
Yeah, that
Got a lot
stuff
of
is.
criticism for that too, but that's all
Well,
good.
I'm sure, people on trolls on Twitter, they're
Yeah, the
sitting
troll
going
is
for it.
in particular the troll is he's all loving it, so it's all good. But thank you so much for all you've done for us. Thank you for teaching me so much, and you continue to teach me stuff. So don't ever hesitate to reach out, because I learn from you. So
Yeah.
and I'm grateful for that. So thanks for coming on.
You
Appreciate it.
bet. Thank you.
Thank you. And if you haven't subscribed to the EarthWorks podcast, please do. We'll let you know when Logan Freeman comes back, because he'll be back again someday soon. Thank you.